my dear friends, my name is Megha and welcome to my channel Score Points. Today I am going to teach part C of reproduction in organisms. In the previous videos, we have learned about asexual reproduction and pre-fertilization events. In this video, we are going to learn about fertilization and post-fertilization events. The most important event in sexual reproduction is the fusion of gametes. This process is called as syngamy. Syngamy, it means the fusion of gametes. Syngamy result in the formation of diploid zygote. The term fertilization is used for this process. A new term that we have to learn in this chapter is Parthenogenesis, the phenomenon of development of female gamete directly into an individual without fertilization. It's called as Parthenogenesis. Rotifers, honeybees, lizards and birds like turkey are common examples for Parthenogenesis. The female gamete without fertilization directly develops into an individual. This process is termed as Parthenogenesis. There are two types of fertilization, external fertilization and internal fertilization. External means a term which is related to outside and internal it is inside. So the term external fertilization means when the fusion of gametes occurring outside the body of an organism. And internal fertilization, it's the fusion of gametes occurring inside the body of an organism. Example for external fertilization is bony fishes, frogs and majority of algae. Example for internal fertilization, it's birds and mammals. Now let's learn the difference between external fertilization and internal fertilization. External fertilization is the fusion of gametes which occurs outside the body of organisms, whereas internal it is a fusion of gametes occurring inside the body of organisms. Large number of male and female gametes are released into the surrounding medium in external fertilization. The number of sperms produced are very large for internal fertilization and the number of eggs will be produced in less amount. In external fertilization, the offsprings are vulnerable to predators threatening their survival. In internal fertilization, the offsprings are well protected and there is better chance for their survival. Example for external fertilization, it's bony fishes, frogs and majority of algae. Internal fertilization, we have birds and mammals as examples. In most aquatic organisms such as majority of algae and fishes as well as amphibians, syngamy occurs in the external medium, that is water, outside the body of organism. And the organisms exhibiting external fertilization show great synchrony between the sexes and release a large number of gametes into the surrounding medium, that is water. This is to enhance the chance of syngamy. This happens in bony fishes and frogs where large number of offsprings are produced. A major disadvantage of external fertilization is that offsprings are vulnerable to predators. Fishes or amphibians like frogs will release large number of gametes into the water and enhance the fusion of it and large number of offsprings will be produced. In many terrestrial organisms belonging to fungi or higher animals such as reptiles, birds and mammals, or majority of plants like bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, syngamy occurs inside the body of organisms. This process is internal fertilization. In organisms exhibiting the internal fertilization, the male gamete is motile and has to reach the egg in order to fuse with it. So in these organisms, large number of male gametes are released and less number of female gametes are released. In human beings, sperms which are motile are produced in large number and ovum which is non-motile, it is produced in less number. In seed plants, the non-motile male gametes are carried to non-motile female gametes by pollen tube. Important thing here is that in humans, we have the male sperms which are motile and female ovum which is non-motile. But for seed plants, both of the male and female gametes are non-motile. The male gamete is actually not moving. It is carried down to the ovule with the help of pollen tube. We have learned in our previous videos events in sexual reproduction. There are three events: pre-fertilization events, fertilization and post-fertilization events. Now let's learn about post-fertilization events in detail. Post-fertilization events include two steps. One is formation of zygote and the second one is embryogenesis. Events in sexual reproduction after fertilization is termed as post-fertilization events. So the first step, formation of zygote. In external fertilization, the zygote is formed outside, whereas in internal fertilization, the zygote is formed inside. So we have learned that. The zygote, it is a vital link that ensures the continuity of species between organisms of one generation and next. Every sexually reproducing organism, including human beings, begin their life as a single-cell zygote. In algae and fungi, zygote develops a thick wall in order to resist desiccation and damage. You can see the structure of sporangia 4. It is protected by sporangium. Now we can learn the next step in post-fertilization events, that is embryogenesis. We have seen in our previous video that genesis means formation. So embryogenesis refers to embryo formation. Embryogenesis is a process of development of embryo from zygote. The zygote is now developing into embryo, and this process is termed as embryogenesis. During embryogenesis, the zygote undergoes two main things, that is, one is cell division, other one is cell differentiation. Cell division or mitosis is to increase the number of cells, and cell differentiation is to form specialized tissues and organs. Based on whether zygote develops outside the body of female parent or inside, animals can be classified into two: oviparous and viviparous animals. Oviparous. Oviparous are those animals that lay fertilized egg, and viviparous are those animals that give birth to young ones. The fertilized egg have calcareous shell, and young ones hatch out after a period of incubation. In viviparous animals, the fertilized egg or zygote has no shell and develops into young one inside the body of female organism. In oviparous animals, the chances of survival of young one is less as the female lays egg in the environment, and for viviparous, the chances of survival of young one is more because of proper embryonic care and protection inside the mother's body. Examples for oviparous animals are reptiles, any kind of birds. Viviparous animals, we have some examples, majority of mammals like human beings. Animals that lay fertilized egg. We have seen the difference between oviparous and viviparous. So those animals that lay fertilized egg are called as oviparous animals. So in order to protect these fertilized egg, they'll have a hard calcareous shell. You can see some examples of oviparous animals. Commonly birds are examples. And viviparous animals are animals that give birth to young one. Offspring will have more chances of survival because there is proper embryonic care and protection inside the mother's body. This is very important question. Why is viviparous animals having a better chance of survival? It is because of proper embryonic care and protection inside the mother's body. In flowering plants, the zygote is formed inside the ovule. So three main important post-fertilization events which happens in flowering plants are: one is zygote developing into embryo, two, it's the fertilized ovule which develops into seed, ovary develops into fruit. Now the ovary wall will develop into a fruit wall which is also called as pericarp. It is the outermost protective covering of fruit. Pericarp or fruit wall is the outermost protective covering of a fruit, which is actually the ovary wall. Now we can see the example of some fruits showing seed and pericarp. Seed is found inside. Now we can learn an important question from this chapter, difference between zoospore and zygote. Zoospore is endogenously asexually produced unicellular motile spores. Zygote, it's diploid in condition. It's formed by fusion of male and female gamete. Zoospore, it may be haploid or diploid. Zygote is always diploid. Zoospores take part in dispersal, whereas zygote has no significant role in dispersal. Now you can see the plot for the above session of sexual reproduction in organisms. This is the end of Chapter 1, Reproduction in Organisms. I hope you liked the video. So thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.